Let's start with something real. No one wakes up and says, I hope I get laid off today. No one plans to be pushed out into early retirement or offered a separation package that they didn't ask for. In today's world, it happens. And when it does, most people see it as an ending. But it can actually be a real opportunity.
Welcome to the Hire Yourself Podcast, the show for senior level executives who are done renting their income and are ready to take control of their future. My name is Gilfillan. I spent decades in the corporate America before hiring myself, becoming an entrepreneur, best-selling author, and a franchise consultant. Now I help others stop relying on one paycheck, one job, and one boardroom decision. If you're ready to take control of your destiny, to build wealth, and to live life on your own terms, then you're in the right place.
I'm Pete Gilfillan, a franchise consultant and entrepreneur and the founder of Hire Yourself. Before becoming an entrepreneur, I spent nearly 20 years in the corporate world. I worked for companies like Ford Motor Company and Terex. And like many executives, I eventually faced the moment that I was forced to make a decision. You see, while I was at Ford, and I'll remember it was back in late 2006, I had my boss call me and offer me a voluntary separation package. Now, this was the start of the Great Recession, and they needed to shed jobs. Now, I love Ford Motor Company. That was my life, right? I loved the company. I was raised in a Ford family, and I was a top producer. I was running a very large business. But my boss called me and offered me a package. And I like to call that package a golden handshake. And it wasn't something that I planned on. It wasn't something that I thought was ever going to happen to me. But I decided to go home and to talk it over with my wife to say, do we take this package and use it to kind of reset our life? And that's exactly what we did. We took the package and we decided to go on to the next phase of our life. And so the purpose of today's podcast is let's just talk about this idea that when you're faced with career transition or you have financial decisions or you have that turning point in your career where you have to make a strategic move, that's a big time. And so how can we take or treat a severance package to create that kind of golden handshake to seed our next step or seed a transaction into becoming a business owner or becoming an entrepreneur like I did? So let's frame this, right? So if you're given a separation package, it isn't just compensation. Yes, they're giving you a severance, but it can be capital. It can help you start a business or capitalize your business. So the idea behind this is to leverage that capital to take that income and create something for yourself. Most people treat severance as a bridge. I find it as a way to kind of reset your future. So people look at it as a bridge to essentially go from one job to another. But what if we use that severance package to create a path of becoming an entrepreneur? My approach was, hey, let's take the separation package, don't rush, but go and strategically use it to build a business, to invest in a business. And we actually use that separation package, those dollars to, one, help capitalize the business. Number two, to help cover our living expenses as we launch the business. So think of it as seed capital when we get a severance package for your business. And it also could be a runway for your lifestyle. So we didn't have to move out of our house. We didn't have to, take our kids out of their sports or anything else like that. So I look at it as time, flexibility, and control. Now, why do franchises make more sense in this moment? If you're looking at redeploying capital and you want to leverage it, franchise ownership offers a proven business model. It's an essential or it's established system and processes. They got great brand recognition. They got support and training. And so you're not starting from zero. You've got a business partner that's helping you. So you bring your business acumen, they bring the system, and you follow the system, and it allows you to be successful. Now, when we talk about starting a business, cash flow timing is so important. And that's one of the biggest concerns for people. How long will it take me to make money? And for many people, that's a really important thing, right? You have to understand the path forward in regards to revenue. You got to understand how you have low overhead, and you got to kind of stabilize operations. So the idea is that you create this bridge with your capital. Again, I use the business to help cover my personal expenses as well as covering expenses with the business until I got running, until I had enough revenue where I was cash flow positive and I was able to pay myself. And this is an emotional shift because it goes from reaction to decision. Separation package, you feel like something's happening to you. But when you choose to use it, well, then it's something that for sure that you are in a power shift. You're now taking control. You're using that money to take the control away from the corporation and put it in your hands. So not all golden handshakes are treated equally or are equal, but all of them create opportunities. Some packages are larger, some are a little bit smaller, but the idea behind it is it gives you a window to make a decision, to take a new path from that standpoint. So I always encourage people, if you are given a separation package, you're deferred off, bottom line is take that time. You can look at other jobs, but also look at becoming an entrepreneur. Utilize that capital to create that plan to take control of your life. So the golden handshake is something that is a lot of times unexpected. It can be something that's very shocking. It was for me, but we can use that to our advantage. And that's what it's all about. Use it for seed capital. Use it as a transition. Use it as a launching pad to become an entrepreneur. And it comes down to just understanding that, there's risk in keeping that job and there's risk in keeping a business. But I do know about risk is that if I am in more control, there's less risk. And that's the way I look at when we invest in a franchise business. So if this conversation resonates with you, you thinking about, oh, wow, what if I did get a separation package, or you've just received a separation package? I encourage you to go to hireyourself.com, schedule a 15-minute call with me. Tell me a little bit more about your situation. I'll tell you about my free franchise consulting services, and we'll see if franchising is a potential path for you to follow. Now, again, my job is to really kind of help people. I always encourage you to follow me on Hire Yourself. I'm here to always be there for you.